Yo, if you don't know who I am, I've been going viral on Instagram for doing a stupid Trump impression and calling out Israel for its influence on our politics and their genocide, of course. Here, I'll show you guys a video. This is my
Mr.
most
President,
famous.
what will you be doing to ensure there's no more assassinations like what happened to Charlie Kirk? 3.5 trillion to Israel.
And it's just this over and over
Mr. President, in
and
these new
over.
Epstein files, it says that you blew Bill Clinton? Never. The only man I blow is Benjamin, beautiful Benjamin.
Anyway, I've only been posting for about 3 months now, and I've hit 20,000 followers because, well, Gen Z, the young people, are mad about Israel. They hate it for whatever reason, left and right. And another person who is tapping into this is, of course, Nick Fuentes. And obviously, he's on the right with his America First movement. Now, leftists and right wingers like both me and Nick Fuentes. However, in my opinion, Nick Fuentes is not also different from the Israeli model. I don't think he would be mad if America First became basically what Israel is at the moment. He wants us to influence other people's politics. He wants American puppets in every country. He wants to raid countries for their materials, for America First policies. And in my opinion, his vision is not so different from one of Israel's, just from America First rather than an Israel First perspective. Now, I've been calling this out. Every video on this channel, except for one, I've only made 3 videos, is about Nick Fuentes. And the reason is because I truly think his ideology is dangerous and dumb. But I think he's funny. And I think he has tapped into something that I've also been trying to tap into, which is the young working person's disgust for the system and the need to change it. One of the main points I've been harping on is that I believe that his supporters will abandon him just as his supporters abandoned MAGA, just as he abandoned MAGA for his own America First movement. And look no further than the man himself. In this clip, he basically says exactly what I've been saying, but he believes that there is no further right place to go. He thinks America First is the end, and I think he's being naive and frankly really fucking stupid. So let's watch this.
And if he only did that, then that was a victory by itself. But as it has dragged on, it is transformed from we don't have high expectations to now it is a liability. That's why I said it's maybe perhaps better if Trump just sunsets, because there's nothing new and dynamic. And as a matter of fact, he's betrayed his core principles. It doesn't mean that it was a mistake. It doesn't mean that Trump wasn't worth supporting at one time. It doesn't mean that Trump wasn't good on net. I think he was at a certain time. A necessary stage. But like a booster rocket, we now have to discard that first stage and advance to the next stage.
And okay, I'll pause. I'll unpause the clip. He's about to do an analogy that I literally just made in a video that I made yesterday. But he really believes that America First is the end of this stage, this stage progression. And I think you should look at this, what you're about to say, through that lens.
Which is a more explicit, yes,
He truly thinks he's the last stage.
a more right-wing, a more radical version, which I would call America First. You go from MAGA to America First. Step one, step two. You go from sort of like a vague 1990s liberalism that says, you know, it's a cult of personality.
He's right.
Through personal loyalty to Trump, we're going to withstand the high-pressure media attacks, political attacks. We're going to see the systems corrupt. We're going to destroy the system's legitimacy and their credibility and the rest of it. Prove that it's possible. Show ourselves our own power. Change the rules. Do all these things. Warm people up. Move the Overton window to the right. Change the GOP. Then we move on to America First. And now we say, well, why are we against mass migration? Because this country has an identity. Why are we against foreign wars? Because we have them, because we're under the control of a foreign lobby. We have a corruption problem. Who isn't putting America first in trade negotiations? Who isn't putting America first in war? And why? Because of the corruption of the money system. The money system has to give way to national power. We need a truly populist tyrant, a truly populist, true leader, a true executive to come in and clear out the corruption. The super PACs. Okay, the Citizens United super PACs, the hundreds of millions of dollars, the money that pours in from AIPAC in Adelson and Silicon Valley and Wall Street that captures the bureaucracy, that captures Congress, the government. This is why they're doing things that are good for capital, but not good for labor. They're doing things like bringing in cheap labor.
He really believes that the system doesn't benefit capital. He thinks we just must reform this system, which is inherently a liberal point of view. Obviously, he's a fascist, and I believe liberalism sort of is a fascist ideology. But this is liberal. This is liberal. He believes that liberal capitalism will work just as long as we get rid of bad actors.
From India, which is good from the firms that employ them, but it's not good for the Americans that need the jobs. And the same goes for the seats at the universities. The same goes for all the rest of it. MAGA was stage 1 in the booster rocket. This is stage 2. We have to now graduate. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing disloyal. There's not a lack of continuity. People say you're not MAGA. True. I'm not MAGA anymore. I was MAGA, but I'm not anymore. I've moved beyond that. MAGA was sufficient for 2016, but it isn't anymore. Now we need something stronger. We need something more developed. We need something that is more sincere. We need America first.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear what he was trying to say there. After this, I want to show you this one. Obviously, I don't know who this journalist is, but this is straight out of Nick Fuentes' mouth, so just listen to it.
I actually
Turn this up.
probably favor regime change in Venezuela, to be honest. I think that that is a perfectly legitimate strategic goal of the United States. You know, we talk all the time about Israel and the war over there, and those are wars that don't benefit the United States. I actually think it would be beneficial if we had a pro-American regime in Venezuela. Probably would be good for us.
He sounds like Benjamin Netanyahu. Listen to him. I know if you're a right-winger, you're going to be like, oh, no, he hates the Jews. But listen to him. He's like a Christian Benjamin Netanyahu. He wants to do things for American interest at all cost.
The resources they have.
He truly does. And that's why he's going to justify things like a war in Venezuela. He's going to justify regime change in Venezuela. He would maybe even justify like a war with Mexico. You know, and honestly, it's so stupid that he doesn't want the war in Iran, because he only doesn't want the war in Iran because Israel wants the war in Iran. They have resources. The destabilization of them would be America first if you look at it that way. But just because Israel has influence over it, he doesn't want to do it. His fans will turn on him. He is America first, but when he becomes the establishment, just as MAGA has become the establishment, they will abandon him. Mark my fucking words, they will. The only way that they won't is if they create Israel. They create a fucking welfare state, a far-right welfare state, which basically aims to globalize American colonialism. Take over every country, put in their own puppets everywhere to serve American interests. That's what he wants. Now, like I said, the only way that I think they wouldn't move past America first is if he were to do like a welfare state. He would basically do socialism in America, maybe not socialism, social democracy in America, improve the lives of the Americans while doing Israel to other countries, dragging other countries, other superpowers into our wars to serve our interests. Nick Fuentes wants America to be Israel. And if you don't see that, I don't think you're thinking critically enough. Now, Nick and the groypers will call me gay, they'll call me a woman, they'll call my interests womanly, call me a Jewish, they'll call me a race traitor, they'll call me broke, whatever. But they agree with me. Nick Fuentes agrees with me. MAGA was the first step. America First is MAGA 2.0. They will abandon him. Mark my fucking words. I promise you, they will abandon him. And if they don't, it will be because he becomes the establishment and creates a welfare state, which basically does Israel. He wants to do Israel here. And then what happens? World War. If we are America first and every other country is China first, Russia first, what's going to happen? We're all going to want to meddle in each other's elections and stuff. What's going to fucking happen? Harmony, peace. That's what he says he wants. He wants peaceful whatever. He wants to globalize Americanism, American liberalism. And he would do it at all costs. And if he won't do it at all costs, his supporters will abandon him. And that's what you're seeing with the white nationalist movement. Now, Nick Fuentes says that those people who are moving far right of him actually aren't. And he's the furthest right you can be. And he's just coping. He believes step 2 of MAGA is the end of it. He believes that's it. But no, fascism doesn't work that way, Nick Fuentes. It doesn't. It doesn't work that way.